All right, I'm here. I'm live on Instagram. I'm live on Facebook. I'm live on Zoom. And now we're going to get started. Thank you so much for joining me. It is really exciting. I show up here every Friday morning at 9 a.m. to 9:30. We get in, we get out, we learn a new happiness topic, and then we practice it. We go out and we practice it, and then we show up next week, okay? So what are we talking about today? Let me tell you. Oh, wait. Darn it. I love when I don't go perfect. Okay, over-parenting, helicopter parenting, modern parenting, where parents aim for perfection in their kids' personalities, their looks, their diets, their talent, their education, their behavior, their resumes, even their living spaces. This is what's happening today. We have become helicopter parents. And let me tell you something. There is a new way to parent, and it is what is like sweeping the nation. It is super exciting, and it is what I'm going to talk about today. I think that it's time to stop being so paranoid about raising the most perfect children and start becoming conscious parents. Okay, so what does that mean? Well, it's not a discipline strategy. It's a philosophy. So there are a million books out there. And by the way, if you're not a parent, this is still a really good topic for you, because either you're going to have children one day, or you know somebody who has children, or you were a child at some time. And that might help you understand some of the things that you're going through and how you might be able to actually move beyond them, okay? Because you might have had helicopter parents, or you might have had distant parents. And this, so, you know, those are the two extremes of the other side of this. So conscious parenting is much more about being present and knowing your child and knowing who your child is. So let me get into it and let me tell you more about it. So first of all, pop quiz, true or false? The path to becoming successful is extremely narrow, and if you fall off it, you're sunk. Well, that is what helicopter parenting and over-parenting is about. It's this: I've got to get my child to success. And if anything goes wrong, if he doesn't get the right grades, if he isn't in the right school, if he doesn't have the best resume, if he hasn't done any charity work, if he didn't do I mean, I'm in Silicon Valley, and if a child hasn't started a business by the time they're 16, they're not getting into Stanford. I'm just telling you. But anyway, that is not true. And it is a really hard area to live in and to raise kids, because it is so prevalent around here. It is so like there is just one track to success. But hold on a second. You know me, I like to step back one and say, what is success? Like, first of all, let's just stop and say, what is success? I know there are a lot of people who say success is about having a great job and having money. I don't know. I don't know any parent out there who says, I'm so proud of my child because he's making a lot of money. Like, no, said no parent ever. Like, what is it? What do every single parent, and what do you want for your child? You want them to be happy. Oh my gosh, isn't this great that you stumbled upon the Happy Huddle? And by the way, this is number 29. There's 28 before this. You can get them. You can find them on happierbytheminute.com totally for free. So, but what is it to be happy? I really believe that we need to reverse engineer what we want for our children and then get there. So a lot of people are saying, I need to get him into the right school, that he needs to have the right grades, he needs to do all the right extracurriculars so he can get into the right school, so that he can college, so that he can get into the right job, so that he can make enough money, so that he can be happy. Well, we all know, you know it, that money doesn't buy you happiness. We think it does. That is why billions of people entered the $1 billion lottery. I get it. I totally get it. But we also know that research says that really only to about a certain amount of money does it change people's lives. And it's about $70,000. And that's where you have the comfort, and you have the ability to get around, and you have a job, and you have a home, and you have heating and food. But outside of that, it's only incremental happiness that comes with greater money. I know people who have a lot less money and are happier, and people with a lot more money who aren't happy. And I'll tell you, whenever people say they want to make more money, I tell them, It's never enough. If you are not happy poor, you will not be happy rich. So again, let's reverse engineer what happiness is. Define it. Define it. So you know what these are. You want your child, and you want yourself, by the way. Again, if you don't have children, this is what you want. You want to be resilient. You want to be loved. You want kind. You want a kind child. You want to be kind. You want a child that lives his passion, knows himself or herself, that they're financially secure. You don't want them on the street, but I'm telling you, there are not only two tracks. There's not just this track to homelessness or to, $1 million a year. There are things in between. You want them to be joyful and independent and honest. You want them to communicate well. You want them to be a problem solver. You want them to be responsible, capable, tenacious, to work through hard things, to know that they can handle challenges and failures. Those things don't happen if you do their homework for them. And they don't necessarily happen only at the best schools. They might happen, believe me, we know a lot of people who are rags to riches, who have had really challenging childhoods and did not go to a prep school, and they're living incredible lives contributing to this world. So there are a lot of examples that you do not need to be orchestrating every single thing. Okay. Shefali Saberi, Dr. Shefali Saberi, she's a psychologist who has been doing parenting, and she's really the matriarch of this conscious parenting. I want to say that she actually coined the term. If you've been following me, I got to see her live at Mind Valley this summer when I was in Tallinn, Estonia. And she's written multiple books. Her first one, Out of Control, and then The Conscious Parent, and then The Awakened Family. So I'm going to give you, I really tried to put these into nuggets because it is kind of a hard concept to wrap your mind around. There's going to be a lot of people that aren't going to like this, because if you are somebody who believes in discipline, that there has to be a consequence, and your child needs to have time out and they need to struggle and suffer and be punished to learn, stay tuned. I'm not going to tell you to hang up. But I am going to tell you to stay tuned. But this might be a little challenging for you, and I'm going to ask you to just get curious. Just get curious about there being possibly another way. So here are some of the things that Dr. Shefali says, okay? Parents unwittingly pass on an inheritance of psychological pain and emotional shallowness from their own childhood. We know that. We know that this is what's happening. To handle the behavior that results from this annoying shallowness that they have because we passed it on, there are traditional books on parenting with clever techniques for control and quick fixes for dysfunctionality. Again, the key word there is control. They are going to want to have control of their children. Now, hold on. I'm not suggesting that we lose all control of our children. There is something in between, okay? And Dr. Saberi's conscious approach to parenting is children serve as mirrors of their parents' forgotten self. Just let that sink in a minute. Again, this might be a little much to take in if you're just doing things the old way, or as you have always done it, or what your parents did, because that seemed to work, right? Well, hold on, let's keep going. Children aren't ours to possess our own in any way. They're not ours to possess. When we know this in the depths of our soul, we tailor our raising of them to their needs, rather than molding them to fit our needs. I know, don't worry, I'm not leaving you just on that really heady thought, but that is what we are doing, right? We're going to look at the children and say, who are they? And who do they want to become? Not who we want them to become. Like, if you're just trying to get your child into Stanford or Harvard, is that what they want? And you're going to say at 4 years old, they don't know what they want. At 16, they may not know what they want. But is that really the track? If you really know your child, this is what this is about. Get to know your child. and give them the benefit of being aware and giving them the time and the patience and the consciousness to knowing who they are and knowing what will best fit them. And by the way, I do agree that most 16-year-olds don't know who they are. A lot of that is because we are pushing them through systems that are shoving information into their head that's just about planets and rock formations and different civilizations, which is very important, great knowledge to know, but are we spending enough time on helping them get to know who they are and what they love? So I'm not saying it has to be either or, but I am saying we have to get back to letting them and helping them know who they are. Oop, oop, I froze. Hold on a minute. Oh, okay. The idea behind conscious parenting is not to strive for creating the perfect child or viewing children as idealized versions of ourselves. She said, set aside your ego, which is really, really hard because as parents, we want our children to look perfect because if they look perfect, we look perfect. Okay, we have to stop being worried about what other people think of us. It is completely a comparison game, and it isn't. I mean, you have to let go of your own ego. And Dr. Shefali urges parents to set aside their ego and celebrate the ordinariness of their children, right? We, as soon as somebody says, oh, your child paints well, we think, oh my gosh, they might be the next Picasso. Maybe we should get them a tutor for that. Maybe if they're really great in math, we should be getting them another tutor, and we should have them in advanced math, and they should be learning, calculate. They should be going into college already. Shh, relax. Children are not allowed to be children anymore. We are making it so loud and so noisy. Let them be children. Let them be bored. Let them have downtime. Let them figure out who they are. The ego, our ego, wants everything around it to be grand and idealized. So even with our children, we don't want them to simply be ordinary beings because we don't want to be ordinary beings. And if we feel like we are just ordinary, we're going to use our children to try to get them to not be ordinary because then we won't be ordinary anymore. But let them simply be ordinary and fallible human beings. That's what we are. And we want them to be the greatest manifestation of ourselves, and we've got to let go of that. So she says every child wants three things. And I love that. What they want has no price tag. What they want is our full engaged presence. They want to know, am I seen? Am I worthy? Do I matter? That is what your child wants. They don't want to know that they are gifted. They don't want to know that they are so smart that they are going to be the CEO and a new inventor. They want to know, am I seen? Am I worthy? Do I matter? And when a person feels seen and worthy and that they matter, they grow up to live an empowered life. And that's what you want. We communicate their importance in our everyday interactions with them. So here are some things to do. These are your quick tips. Let go of superiority. That means let go of having to be in charge. And it doesn't mean that you're not directing them and you're not giving them boundaries, but it lets go of, I know better than you do. And it's this, I know who you are better than you do. Certainly you know better about not to go in the street and not to eat candy all day long. But it isn't a superiority complex. It's a, I'm helping you learn because you didn't come into this world knowing that marketers are going to try shoving candy in your mouth 24 hours a day by putting superheroes on candy in a cereal box. But we aren't going to be just, no, you can't have that. Teach them. They don't know. Be present. It's through our gaze and our attention that our children grow up with a strong sense of self. Be present. Put down the phone. Stop trying to get going, and we're in such a rush to go everywhere. I'm going to repeat a couple times that you have to build consciousness, which also equals patience, into parenting. You have to build patience in. Don't be in a rush to go everywhere. Sometimes just let them take 45 minutes to walk home from school when it's only 5 minutes. Let them stop and pick the plants, and let them stop to look at the butterfly, and let them stop to look at the worm. Let them stop, because it is in those moments that their brain is firing on a million cylinders that you can't even see. So I promise you, you don't even know that those moments, I saw a speaker this week who I'll talk about later, and it's called those ladybug moments. When they stop to stare at a ladybug, those are ladybug moments, okay? Connect before you correct. I love that one. When you see a moment, is it a punishable moment or is it a teachable moment? Think about that. Is it a punishable moment or a teachable moment? Even if they hit their brother, think every child is just there in the present moment. So you got to stop and say, okay, what are they trying to get? What are they trying to learn? What are they trying to know? I'm not saying don't let them hit them. I'm definitely not telling you to let them tear apart a house or tear apart their brother or their sister. I'm telling you, connect with them and see what they're trying to tell you. What are they trying to learn? And then match expectations to their development level. I'll tell you, I rarely take my kids to the store, and I know some people have to take their kids because it's the only thing they can do. But I don't take my kids to the store if I don't have to, because they're bombarded with all of this marketing to want this. There is a toy at every single stop, even in the vegetables. Like, they're just trying to market to them and give them everything, and your children can't handle that. They're saying, "Oh my God, I need that! I need that! I need that!" So anyway, to tell them to punish them because they can't handle being in the grocery store and say no to things, match the expectations to their development level. Allow them to mess up. Don't shame them. How could you possibly feel that way? How could you possibly do that? Well, they could possibly do that because that's all they know. That's all they know in this moment. Patience during misbehavior. Like, just stop and listen. Honor their feelings. I'm telling you, this morning was a rough morning. My child did not want to go to school. You're getting me in the crazy morning hair, because I could not get my child to go to school, the 7-year-old, because he hates math right now. He's really, really struggling. And, part of it is because he has special needs, and they're mainstreaming him into the up-leveled math. And I don't know if that's the right choice or not. So instead of just saying, you got to go to school, you have to do this, you can do this, work harder, I'm going to honor his feelings and say, yeah, it's hard right now. And you still have to do it. And we'll talk about it. We can talk to your teacher about whether this is the right thing. I can look into it for you, because I need to teach him to advocate for himself. But I can't do that without knowing all the facts. And so we have to help him advocate for himself. Doesn't mean I'm never going to have him do hard things, but I'm going to help him learn how to do the hard things. And by honoring his feelings and saying, I get that it's hard, and there are going to be hard things in our life. And then we still are going to do them, and we're going to push through them, and we're going to do our best. We don't just avoid them. He still didn't want to go to school. So I honored his feelings. And then I told him, you know what? You still have to go to school. So you're either going to go to school naked, or you're going to go to school in your clothes. Which would you like to do? And he decided to go in his clothes. Okay, I'm not really going to take him to school in his naked. But at the end of the day, he's got to know he's got to go. Now, I have taken my children to school in their pajamas, because they said they didn't want to go. And I said they didn't want to get dressed. And I say, you want to go in your pajamas? That's fine. And they can get dressed later. That is not the worst thing that's going to happen to them. And you're going to say, well, they're going to get teased. Okay, then they're probably going to get dressed tomorrow. And it's okay if they get their feelings hurt every now and again. They're going to learn. They're going to learn how to get through it. Don't protect them. And I'm the worst. I'm the worst. I really try to protect my children a lot. Work on your monkey mind. I mean, I'm working on all of this stuff myself. This is why I do these every week. There's something that I am trying to learn and study and practice, and that is why I do these. And I'm happy that you come along for the ride. I love to share all this with everybody, and I appreciate it. So I'm working on this too. And ask, what is about me that caused this situation? And not that you're to blame, but what can I do? Where am I responsible? There's another great book called The Self-Driven Child. And it is the science and sense of giving your kids more control over their lives. And they call it agency, feeling control over your life. And it's the most important factor in human happiness and well-being. Now, we started this with saying we all want human happiness. We want our children to be happy. We want them to have well-being and well-lived lives. We want that for ourselves. And so this is what you need, feeling control over your life. And so this is a great book, even if you're not a parent, and if you're going to be a parent, or you know someone who's going to be a parent. But if you're struggling with things, this is what we all want. We want control over our lives. Give them the appropriate sense of control. Let them do things. Let them make mistakes. It is not the worst thing. It is way better for them, for you to allow them to try to pour the milk and it to spill, and then for them to learn how to clean it up and then to try again, than it is for you to say, I'm going to do it for you every time. Oh no, let me do it. You can't handle this. You know, we start by saying, you can do it. You can do it. You can walk. You can get up. You can turn over. You can talk. We tell them they can do all these things. And then when they get to be about 3 or 2.5, 3, we start, and they want to start being independent and do things on their own. Oh, no, let me do that for you. Oh, no, let me fix that for you. Well, I have a super independent 4-year-old, and he will tell me, even if I'm in a hurry, no, mama, I can do it. No, mama, I can do it. And it is frustrating to sit there when he's trying to put on his seat buckle, and I just have to bite my tongue and let him do it. Let him do it. It may take 10 minutes and he might get frustrated, but until he asks for help, let them do it. And if they make a mistake and they spill the milk or they break something that's okay for them to break, you know, like a Lego toy, a Lego structure as they're trying to build it, let them work through those feelings. Oh gosh, this is so for me too, because I have such a hard time with that. Instead of thinking of yourself as your child's boss or manager, telling them what to do all the time, try thinking of yourself as their coach or their consultant. The self-driven child is driven by internal motivation as opposed to other people's expectations, rewards, insecurity, or fear. This is my biggest, I work on this all the time, because a lot of times we want them to do something and we want to reward them and we're going to give them rewards for it. You know, in school, there's a lot of extrinsic motivation. If you do this, you get points, you get coins, you get all of those things. And I will tell you, we really want to try to work on their internal motivation as much as we possibly can. How can we possibly do that? Now, I will tell you, I did not potty train my children, and I know that's shocking, and I was very lucky because I had a preschool that didn't ask for it. And it wasn't until, this may shock you, but my youngest one, Declan, was 4. It was this summer. He was wearing nappies, and then we took him to the potty every now and again. We would take him if he asked, and then one day he said, you know, I need to go to the potty. I said, great. So I took him. We were in a restaurant, and he went to the bathroom, pulled up his pull-up, and we went back out. And then 10 minutes later, he was missing. Everybody was freaking out. Can't find him. Everybody's running around. Is he out of the restaurant? Where did he go? And then I thought, I don't know why, but I went back to the bathroom. And I'm like, Declan? And he said, yep, I had to go potty again. He took himself to the bathroom, went to the bathroom, and that night he said, I don't need diapers anymore. And he didn't. That was it. And I know that it's hard to believe, and people want to rush it, and they think that they've got to get them potty trained because their friend's kid did it at 2, and everybody else at the preschool is already potty trained, and his brother was potty trained at 3. They're not going to go to college in diapers. So I'm not saying you have to do it my way, but I'm just saying that's a good example of letting them be intrinsically motivated instead of giving them a bunch of M&Ms to be potty trained. To be self-driven, kids need to have a sense of control over their lives, and they're energetic about directing their lives in the direction that they want to go. Just checking my time. This is a great, 2 great books. I just saw him speak this week too. Under Pressure by Carl Honore and In Praise of Slowness. And this is another way of talking about conscious parenting. It's slow parenting. All right, so slow down. Don't be in such a rush. Don't be in such a rush. We can do things in a slow way. The pressure to give our children the best of everything and make them the best at everything is backfiring. Children need to strive and struggle and stretch themselves. What did I say? But that does not mean childhood should be a race. Slow parents give their children plenty of time and space to explore the world on their own terms. Again, you have to build that in because we are in such a hurry and we've organized their lives and they have so many different activities. I'm guilty of this too. And I don't like to sit still. That's not a surprise. I've talked to you about it before. I do this in the middle of the night. I have a day job and I do this at night and I love it. I love it to be on the go all the time, but it doesn't mean that my children have to be. And I'm always like, what are we doing this weekend? What do we have planned? And I was just at this talk this week and I was talking to one of the parents. I said, I don't know what I'm going to do Saturday after this talk. And she said, you're going to do nothing this Saturday and you're going to have a slow day with your kids. And I was like, oh my gosh, here it is. I'm still learning. Slow parenting means allowing our children to work out who they are rather than what we want them to be. Again, Dr. Shefali talked about that too. Let go of the ego of who you want them to be. It means letting things happen rather than jumping in and forcing them. It means accepting that the richest kinds of learning and experience often cannot be measured or neatly packaged on a resume or even their college application. Slow parents understand that child rearing should not be, listen to this, a cross between a competitive sport and product development. I love that. It's not product development. We are not creating a product. It's a journey, and it's a journey that involves them and what it is that they want and who they were here to become. Slow parenting is about giving kids lots of love and attention with no conditions attached. And of course, I have talked about this one before. Duct Tape Parenting, I saw her speak. She is amazing. The 3 R's for kids is respect, responsibility, and resilience to better prepare your kids for life. A relationship-based guide to span all ages and stages of development. And this book helps you refrain from saving your children from discomfort. You guys, this is such a big one for me because my personality archetype, I do not like discomfort, which is why I'm obsessed about learning about positive psychology and how to be happier and how to feel good, and why I do it every week is because I am conditioning my brain because I don't like discomfort. And by the way, in case you think I was born like this, I was a very depressed child and I had a lot of anxiety. Through high school, I was suicidal. So this has just been my life mission for myself to get out of that space. And so I've had a lot of struggles, but this is what I do to stay positive. Now, I know what discomfort is. And so then I was intrinsically motivated to get out of it. Nobody had to try to hold a carrot in front of me and give me Skittles if I was happier. I knew that that's what I wanted, but I knew it because I didn't like the feeling of discomfort. But it means I have to work on being okay with discomfort too. We tell ourselves that we need our kids to be models of perfection and look good so that we look good, but that just is silly. We have to let go of that. So check yourself. The relationship we have with our kids becomes the blueprint for every relationship they have going forward. So how we treat our kids and how we show them a relationship is what they're learning for the relationships they have going forward. So if we tell them that a relationship is controlling, is dictatorship, is reward-based, is manipulative, guess what? That's what they're going to learn. Now, if we teach them that it's respectful, it's collaborative, it's kind, if we yell at them, we apologize. And if they yell at us, we say, gosh, I don't want to do that to you and I don't want you to do that to me. Then that is what we want to teach them. And that's the kind of relationship we want them to have when they grow up. Strategies, all these parenting books, not all of them, but a lot of parenting books, or the, what is it? The nanny that comes to the house. she's the one that gives, you know, timeout. They sit in the naughty chair for 3 minutes if they're 3 and 4 minutes. What are they learning in the naughty chair? They're learning that they're shamed, that they have to be separated if they did something wrong, where instead, don't we want to teach them that if you do something wrong, because by the way, I don't know the last time you never went through a day without doing anything wrong, but we all do things wrong. We make mistakes. And what we need to learn is how to correct those and how to make different choices. You don't learn that in the naughty chair. When we're at work during the week, nobody tells us to go sit in the naughty chair. I'm telling you, between husband and wife, if we make a mistake, I'm pretty sure nobody is going to like going to a naughty chair. We need to work on how to correct mistakes. And you need to learn that when you're young. Don't wait till they're 18 to teach them this. It's going to be too late. So let go of control and compliance and work on acceptance and respect. Oh my gosh, I'm running out of time. I ran out of time. Okay, I'm going over, so I'm sorry. I usually end right at 9:30, but I had so much information, and this is so big for me, so I'll speed up a little bit. But instead of our kids, they need the ability to access the situation, make choices that go along with the values of our family, and we must practice every day. We try to extract every obstacle, but no, they need to build it. They need to build it. Resilience is a mental muscle. I'll speed through the end, but remember, you can go back and look at this at your own pace by going to happierbytheminute.com and subscribing to the Happy Huddle, and it's free. Everything is free. Let them be angry and frustrated and feel failure so they know they can get up and keep going. We do not know that, and I think that's what we struggle as adults. We don't know that we can handle failure. Think about that. Is that something you're going through? Is that something you're worried about? We have to remind ourselves that we keep going and that we're okay. By the way, it was a disaster last week on this because I was trying to do Instagram Live and my Zoom didn't work. And at the end of it, I was so happy. I was like, that was a total failure. But I'm going to get back there next week and I'm going to make it work. And I just keep getting better. And so, but it's a muscle. It's a muscle. I failed so much, it's easier for me. Added bonus, if your kid can handle disappointment, your holiday shopping just got a little easier. Seriously, right? Don't let your kids get disappointed at Christmas because they didn't get the presents they wanted. And if they are, there's work to do. They will grow into the words they hear every day. And you know, I talk about this a lot, lots of previous huddles about I am. What are the I am words you use about yourself, about your children, and what are the I ams that they're saying about themselves? Teach them now. Have them look in the mirror. I am enough. I am abundant. I am grateful. Tell them those things. Have them look in the mirror. Start now. I start with my 4-year-old and I say, I am strong. I am healthy. I am brave. He says, I am a poopy butt. I am a poopy butt. And it is very funny, but I'm going to keep going. And I am going to enjoy that moment and I'm going to remember it. And I got to get it on tape but that's his way and that's okay. I'm not going to stop it. I'm not going to tell him he can't say he's a poopy butt because he thinks it's funny and we have a great connection. And I'll keep saying to him, okay, you're a poopy butt and you're awesome and you're enough. There you go. I am enough. My friends, you know how much I love this half an hour with you every single week. Thank you so much for joining me. As always, you know you can go subscribe. Please join me every week. It's only half an hour. We get in, we get out, we learn something, and hopefully you have a happier day and a happier week. So thank you so much for joining me. Now, let's see if I can figure out how to get out of here without ruining everything. Let's see. I think I go like this. I go end. Bye, Instagram. And then I'm going to say bye to all you guys. Let's see. Stop share. And see you guys later. Thanks for being here.